Hey, what's going on YouTube? What is happening? What is happening? Pete to the Daddy in here tonight in Hizzle. Still making an announcement. I am. Hey, Nemo, what's going on? I am still making an announcement at casinos. I had a gig a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that. That was the last one. Haven't done as many this year. Dan, what's up, Dan? Haven't done as many as this year. They just haven't had as many promotions. The casino that I work with or for, I'm a contractor. The casino that I do work for, they got a new marketing person, and they're not doing the big promotions like they've done in the past. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. You know, the 20 trade challenge is so critically important. You know, it's as traders, think about it as traders. You might see, I don't know where everybody started in their trading journey, um, but a lot of times you hear, people, different personalities, people who have their own trading groups and they charge $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $13,000 for their super secret strategy. They basically all start off with the same thing and they say something along the lines of, if you have $10,000 that you can afford to put into a trading account, then you can learn to trade options or you can learn to trade futures. When the reality is the vast majority of those people are going to try to learn too fast. And in doing so, they're going to lose all of their money. Nemo, what's happening? What's up, Matt? What's my Canadian buddy doing tonight? They're going to lose all their money. And if they keep going, they develop scar tissue and these types of things because they try to go too fast. So I think it's incumbent upon people that have their own deals, I guess, to go slow. I think it's very, 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 very important to go slow. Nobody wants to go slow, and that's a problem. But if you put it in terms that kind of make sense, it's like, okay, what if it takes you a year or 2 years? What if it takes 3 years to become expert level or elite level at this? The 3 years is going to go by whether you become an elite level trader or you burn yourself out, you create too much scar tissue, and you quit. So do it small. Start small. Build blocks. Feeling I want to trade, so I'm glad I could not. Yeah, it does. So Pete just said, I knew I could not trade today because of work, but I had the feeling I wanted to trade, so I'm glad I could not. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. If there are specific days that you want to trade, but you can't, leave it alone. I mean, seriously, leave it alone. It's not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it to try to sneak in a trade. It's just not. And again, we are live on YouTube, folks. We are live on YouTube. I'm going to check that out right now. Got a couple people watching, so hello, YouTube land. What is happening? If you guys want to ask any questions at all, feel free to comment. That'd be awesome. We would appreciate that. All right. Yo, Pluto, what's happening? Good to see you. Hey, Luis. Good to see everybody tonight, you guys. It's Thursday. So we do trade reviews Monday through Thursday. We don't do trade reviews on Friday nights. We don't do anything on Saturday. Every now and again, we might have something on a Saturday. And if you guys need to do like a strategy session or any kind of session on a Saturday, just hit me up and we'll see what we can do. Tony, just saying, what is going on? So yeah, I mean, I'm flexible. And again, if it allows us to get better both individually and collectively, I say we do it. That's yeah. Hey, Steve, what's going on, Steve? So I had a conversation today with one of our members. And we were talking about XRP. I'm waving right back at you, Tony. We're talking about XRP, and we both have a position in XRP. And we're talking about it, and if it gets to this crazy, crazy, crazy high number, how that would be, just like stupid money. It's pie in the sky. But if it happened, it would be just crazy. The things you talk about, it's like, if this happens. And he said something. He said something to me, and he said, "Would you still run the Discord?" And I said, "Oh my goodness, yes, I would. If I had $100 billion, I would still run the group." So here's why. I have never in my life been as passionate about anything. I'll just gift it to you, Pete. I have never in my life been as passionate about anything as I am about what we're doing right now, folks, about trading and helping other people trade. So there's absolutely positively no expiration on 920 trading, period. I'll be 59 here in a couple weeks, and we're gonna go. Again, we're not putting any kind of timeline on it, but it's going for years and years. That is how I see it. That's how I see it, because um, this is again, and I'll tell you about the first time. The first time that I was so super excited. I've been self-employed for since 1990, 1991. So, however long that is, that's quite a long time. 34 years, something like that. So it's been a long time. But in 1995, I was in the gas station business. I'll give you a little bit of background. I owned a couple of gas stations many years ago, 30 something years ago. And I was in that for about 4 years. In 1995, I settled a lawsuit with Phillips because they did some really horrible things from a business standpoint. I sued them. I settled a lawsuit with them for way less than it was worth, but nevertheless, I settled. I got out of that business. Didn't know what I wanted to do. My sister worked for a heating and air conditioning company. And she said, "Hey, you should come to work for this heating and air conditioning company." And I said, "I don't know anything about it." She says, "What? You sold. You know how to sell. Anyway, hey, Alan, what's up?" So I said, "You know what? I'll come by and I'll talk to the owner. His name is Guy Donahue. He just died last year. Guy was such a sweetheart. I mean, just such a great man." But did the interview, and he said, "Can you close?" And I said, "I'm a salesman." And he said, "You didn't answer the question." I said, "I don't think you understood the question. You asked if I could sell. You asked if I was a salesman." I said, "Yes. You don't need to ask anything past that." Anyway, I got the job, and essentially, again, been self-employed forever and ever. But he sent me home with, excuse me, he sent me home with a tape. It was a VHS tape of basically the sales process that he wanted me to go through. And I watched this tape, and I don't remember how long it was, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, however, it doesn't matter how long it was, but I watched this tape, and I watched this process. This process of, it's literally, it's from the time you hit the door to the time the sale is made and all of that kind of stuff. And it's a process. And at that point, it was the most excited, and I just came out of being self-employed owning gas stations. So it was the most excited I had ever been to that point about anything, and I was very passionate about it. And just watching this tape, and I'm like, this was made for me. I mean, that's exactly how I thought about it. I was like, this is me. This is made for me. So I did that. I did that for a few years, and then I was on the contracting side. And I did that for a few years, and I did well. I did well. It was a awful lot of fun. Did well, and then I got into the consulting side, sales, marketing, consulting. Worked with a whole bunch of heating and air conditioning companies. I did that, and I still do. I still have a couple of clients that I've had for a long time. So most of the clients that I had, it was like, I'm not interested in dealing with you anymore because I trade and this is what I do. So, but when I first started trading, hey Matt, what's going on? When I first, now we'll go back to 1978. I made my first trade in either 1978 or 1979. So I mean, it was a long time ago. And it was for Junior Achievement. I was part of Junior Achievement. I don't know if you guys remember that, JA Junior Achievement. And it was part of that. And so I made my first trade back then. And then in about 1997, I started to look into it again. 1997. There was a book. I don't remember specifically the name of the book. It's on the tip of my tongue. It is a really good book about day trading. I don't remember. Somebody will remember what it is, and it'll come to me. But that was 1997. Then I kind of put it away for quite a few years, and then picked it up again. But when I really started digging into it and really started looking at how the process worked, how the process of flowing in and out of your trades, and when to go long, when to go short, this kind of thing. When I really started looking into that, it triggered something in me, and I was excited. I was more excited about that than I was years and years and years earlier. And I still maintain that level of excitement because more so, I'm more excited about it today than I was several years ago. I'm more excited about it every day because I feel like, I'm like everybody else. I'm trying to get better every day. I'm trying to get better every day as a trader. And I'm trying to get better every day as, a kind of a, you can call me what you want, an educator, whatever you guys want to call me. But I feel like I'm getting better and strive to get better every day. I feel like if you don't strive to get better every day, you kind of back up. But that's just me. That's just me. We talked about it a little bit. We talked about it last night. We talked about it in the group today about where you want to be as a trader. Do you want to be good? Do you want to be excellent? Do you want to be elite? Mentor. Thank you, Pete. I will accept that. Where do you want to be as a trader? If you want to be a good trader, that's perfectly fine. That's great. If you want to be an elite level trader, that's fine. Wherever you want to be as a trader, that's fine. Get to that level. You're fine with that. You're fine. It's cool. Whatever. But you got to be okay with where you are right now and going through that process, because again, it is process to get to the next levels. Anyway, enough about that, folks. Let's talk about some trades this morning. So I committed to the group that I would I'm starting the session. So a couple of days ago, I did an update video, and then I forgot to do the recording for the session that we had. I think that was Tuesday night. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it was Tuesday night. So at that point, I said, you know what? I'm just going to do I'm just going to make one recording, and it's going to be in the form of the trade reviews. And I like that. I like that, Mike. If the going gets easier, you're probably going downhill. That's true. I love that. I love that. Sing, you are welcome. You are welcome. Now, don't get me wrong. There were some hard years. I'll give you a little bit more background. My kid's mom died when my kids were 6, 10, and 11 years old. So, yeah, 6, 10, and 11 years old. So, I raised my kids essentially all by myself from the time they were 6, 10, and 11. And it was hell. It was hard. Everything about that was hard. It was not easy. It was not easy at all. But we made it. We all kind of grew up together. Excuse me. But anyway, I digress. That's just a little bit more about me. Well, I appreciate that, Sing. I appreciate that very much. And again, it goes back to 1989. It goes back to Fred Benin. Fred Benin, good friend of mine, died 6 years ago, died 2019. He turned me on to Zig Ziglar. And that was another exciting time in my life because Zig Ziglar said, and I quote, "You can get everything in life you've ever wanted if you will just help enough other people get what they want." And I was like, okay, and I felt like I've kind of always done that. But now, with what we do, particularly in the group, what we do in 920 trading, the number of people that I can potentially reach is huge. It is absolutely huge. If I can help people get where they want to go in life, oh my goodness. Is there anything greater than that? I don't think there's anything better than that. I truly don't believe that there is. Anyway, so I'm not going to do the update videos every day. I'm just going to do the trade reviews. And I hope you guys are cool with that. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. That's the ultimate goal, is we want that value to be much higher than the cost. So anyway, that's what I plan to do moving forward is just do the trade reviews and not do because I can't. It takes so much. Well, not a lot, but it takes extra time to do all the production, to do the video at the end of the day, and then do trade reviews because I have to do production on the trade reviews as well. So anyway, let's talk trades, folks. We are about 17 minutes in, and we need to talk about some trades and some different setups. Let's talk about pre-market first. Pre-market pretty much left off where we were, on the close yesterday. Oh, that's Tash. That's Tash. Hey, Tash. Tash, I love Tash. She's in the group. I love Tash. You guys love it. She is awesome. Um, okay. So, there wasn't really anything. Now, we did have some reports that came out this morning. Let's talk about those reports real quick. We had three red folder events. So at 8:30 this morning, 8:30 Eastern time, core retail sales, the expectation was 0.3, an increase of 0.3%, came in at 0.5, so that's better. Retail sales month over month, expectation was an increase of 0.1%, it came in at 0.6. Unemployment claims, the last red folder event, expectation was we were going to lose or 233,000 more people or new applications for unemployment. The number was 221, so it was less. So those three red folder events right there were all good. Now, here's the thing we don't want to do. We don't want to be so biased because of a report and say, oh, it's, we had good reports this morning, so the market's just going to do nothing but go up. It's just not reasonable to assume that. I mean, you can think that, but we still have to let the price action be our guide to everything that we do. Okay. Anyway, we're 18 minutes in now, folks. So let's talk about trades. So what I was looking for this morning, okay, I had specific levels. I had a shelf. I had a big volume shelf down below, but we didn't get anywhere close to this. So the first couple of candles of the day, folks, I mean, start off with good volume, pushed up, pushed down, push up. But it's a doji on that first candle, so a little bit of indecision. But it's the market on open. So every day we get big batches of orders. We get what's called market on open, or MOO. Market on open. Those are orders that are set before market. So when the market opens, they're set to fill. Okay. Those are called market on open. And in 350, we get what are called market on close. So MOC. So it's market on open and market on close. So that's why we always look at 350 for a potential play or a potential continuation if we're already in a play. So anyway, first candle volume this morning, 616,000. That's really good. We're looking somewhere between 450, 600, 700, something like that. If we get more than that, great. Now there's no guarantees that it's going to continue with a high volume or whatever, but it's good volume on that first candle. But anyway, the first candle didn't do anything, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm looking at basically yesterday's high as my major level. And remember, the last 2 days we had double crosses. We had a double cross on Tuesday to the downside, and we closed directly above VWAP, and then it ran down on the next candle, and there was some good entries and that kind of thing. So, and the same kind of thing happened yesterday. It was actually down for the first couple of minutes, and then it ran up, I think, to pre-market high. Rejected off a pre-market high yesterday and P, and then came back to the downside. I believe that's what it was. So I'm thinking, okay, we had a couple of down days at open yesterday, and we weren't breaking through, 624.42 basically on this. We call it basically the doji, where the doji opened and the doji closed on open this morning. So I wasn't really looking. I was looking for something to the downside if we got a push to the downside. But we were in here just kind of pushing along. And I said to the group, and again, folks, we have to call as leaders of communities. It is so critically important that and I talked about this last weekend in the newsletter and the video. It's so critically important that we let the group know beforehand exactly what we're looking for. And basically it's a if-then. If this happens, then I'm going to do that. So we're cruising along right in here. And I said, guys, if we get the golden cross to the upside. So a golden cross is a 920 POC and VWAP all on the same candle, plus a major level being yesterday's high, so we get a good strong close over that level, then I'm going into calls. So again, that's kind of the post-mortem on the reason for getting into this. It's not post, that's why I got into that play right there. So again, the close of 937, again, I was very clear on why I was doing it, and I was clear with the group beforehand, and immediately executed when the clock struck 0 in 937, or when it hit 938, I pushed the button, immediately pulled back. Now, here's where this particular trade got a little bit fun. This week, now I'll back up a little bit because this weekend's newsletter and this weekend's video, they're going to be on exits. We spend so much time on entries, talking about entries, that a lot of the times it's like, where do I exit? Because it's such a common question. Okay, we're working on the entries. We're getting better with those every day. Now, where do we exit? On this particular trade, and I am running out of steam with the voice just a little bit, folks, so I will do the best that I can. If I have to cut it short tonight, I will, because I have to have some juice left in the tank for trading tomorrow. So we're pushing up, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for pre-market high. All right, that's what I'm looking for right in here. And specifically, I'm looking for a close over pre-market high. Why am I looking for a close over pre-market high? Because if we can get a close over this level right here, we can then use that level as support and then wait for the 9 and then let the 9 push us up to potentially to that next level. Now, when we established early, so 943 and 944, if you guys notice what we established at that level right there, we established a double bottom. So when you establish a double bottom right there, it's not just an assumption, but because it's a double bottom, and you can see it on any time frame, that's why we use double bottoms on 30 minutes, double tops on 30 minutes for high level support and resistance. When we establish, before we get to our level, before we breach our level, when we establish a double bottom like that, that becomes our base of support. So we can use that and say, okay, we're trying to get over our level. Okay, we're struggling for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that. But I know that I have support right here at this level on this 1 minute double bottom. So if I breach this back to the downside, I know my 9 is still behind me. You know, yeah, it's a lagging indicator, but it's support and resistance. When people truly learn how to use moving averages, it's like, you know, light bulbs go on, you know, in their head, because when used properly, they're absolutely magical. They're absolutely magical. So anyway, we had 1 minute support right here at this level, at 45, 44, 45, right in here. So you're waiting for your 9 to push up. Now, if we breach that back to the downside, depending on where the 9 is, you're probably going to have to close out that trade. Now, there were people in the group that on one of these candles right here, they got to pre-market high and they chopped the trade. They chopped the trade at pre-market high. And you know what? That's a great trade. That is a wonderful trade right there, closing it at pre-market high, because that was the target. If you've got a target, fine, take it off at the target. You can always reconfirm back into that trade. If you get above the target, you can get back in, considering, you know, that we're not too far away from the 9, right? But I was using, again, I'm using this 1 minute. Now, is there the potential on this particular trade, because we're struggling to get through pre-market high, which is our target, is there the potential for it to come back to the downside? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there a potential for getting a big red candle that comes along because it's at pre-market high and just slam it and take you out of that trade? Absolutely. It happened 2 different times yesterday. It happened 2 times when Trump, and it was at a volume shelf also, when Trump started talking about firing Jerome Powell. It happened. We weren't even up to our target yesterday, and it happened. It was just a whammo kablamo back to the downside. It was nasty. You know, Mr. Oxlong, he was in a trade, and, you know, he was up like 25%, and then it took him out, made him a loser. It happens. It does happen. But anyway, that's always kind of one of those things in the back of our head. It's like, okay, we're struggling, but we have support, and if a candle comes in to take us out, it just happens. Now, the thing that well, I mean, you can do anything, but the thing that I would caution against is when one of those things happens, when one of those kind of an outlier candle comes in, unless you're at a strong supply zone and it's like it's rejected off that time or that level 15 times. Unless you're at a really, really strong zone, you hold it for a couple of minutes. But if you get that candle that comes out of nowhere and destroys your position, don't allow that candle or that particular play to give you scar tissue. Just realize that it happens. Now, if you're $4 or $5 into a trade, and it's running up and it's one of those beautiful trend days, and then you let that trade go bad on you, it could be a problem unless there's a massive, massive catalyst. But I mean, we remember what happened in April. I mean, just crazy, crazy, crazy. $40 days, guys. $41 days. So yeah. But anyway, that was the why behind me. That's how I look at. Do I hold a trade at specific levels? Okay, I have 1 minute support. I have the 9 directly below me, but there's also one other thing that I use. So let me show you this. Let's look at pre-market high. We can look at and see if we have a specific volume shelf at that level. Now this is the 2-day. This is a 2-day right in here. So what I'm looking at, again, pre-market high, I know I have support at 49. Again, it's a little shelf. It's a little shelf. So let's look at 49. Is that where our double bottom is on the 1 at 49? It's just above that. So again, these levels are really, really close together. And again, if we look at the 1 minute, yeah, we can look at the 1 minute at that level and see exactly where it's kind of jaggly, craggly, whatever you want to call it. So I knew that I had support all the way down to 42. Again, you can see this shelf right here. Shelf is nothing more than volume. It's just volume, and it's both support and resistance depending on where you are. So if we got below 42, it's probably going to come back pretty hard. I think the number I was looking for was like 17, something like that. I could be wrong though. But anyway, that's the post-mortem on this particular trade. Now, we had R1 up here, which is our R1 left over from yesterday. Our R1 today was up higher. But my cut on that trade, I breached the 9 back to the downside in no man's land. So that was my signal to take myself out of the trade. So that was that. That's the post-mortem on that particular trade. I don't know, 10 minutes on that post-mortem on that trade that lasted open of 38 to close of 17, 18 minutes, something like that. That's a good trade, folks. That's a good trade. But anyway, that was that right there, folks. That was that right there. So I really feel like, and I know a lot of people were in on this trade, folks. Los Tex was in on this trade. I think Matt was in on this trade. Everybody who was in on this trade, congratulations. It was a well executed trade. Again, folks, if the only thing we are seeing is this candle right there. Again, what we're looking for is in this case, we're looking for a double cross above a major level. We got it. We knew we had support down below. Again, this is the only candle that we're seeing. We don't see anything to the right of us, guys. Again, that's why we have to execute. Well, I mean, we don't have a time machine. We can't go back and make $27 billion. We just can't do that. But the market gives us the opportunity every single day to do this and do this at a high level. Anyway, that's the postmortem on that particular trade. Now, we also had people in the group. I know Los Tex. I'm pretty sure Luis was in on this candle right here on 10. No, it's not 10:11. It was 10:15. I believe it was 10:15. But we had a double cross to the downside. So if you took that, where's your stop? Probably that same candle, maybe swinging it high. But then another double cross to the downside at 10.15, or really, really close to a double cross to the downside. We stopped right at the 20. We stopped right at the 20. And I think Los, did you take it off at pre-market high? Yeah. Yep, you got in. I remember because you were talking about the two trades and how you took two different double crosses. So I don't remember where you exited. Maybe you exited. I think you may have exited when you hit pre-market high for a fairly quick scalp, 3 or 4 minute scalp. I think that's right. Sometimes my memory is right on. 1024 exit. Oh man, what a great exit. Yeah, you got through. That's really, really good. So the beauty of that 1024 exit right there is look at the buyers that stepped into that particular trade. So anyway, really, really nice trade back to the downside. And again, you're playing off of R from yesterday, so I understand. I get it. So that's the play, guys. The double cross is the trade. When you combine that with major levels, it's you're going to have a lot of really, really nice trades. Very, very nice trades. Okay, so let's talk about that next potential setup. Now, here at 1042, it was a beaut today. I know it was, my friend. I'm very, very happy for you. Seriously, very, very happy for you. We had a double cross to the downside right here. It was basically this. You could make the case at 1037 back. You can absolutely make the case on 1037 back to the downside, and it's probably going to be a losing trade unless you were looking at this candle right here. Again, all that buying pressure right here at this level. We could have put a level in there, 625.09, and said we need to breach that to the downside. We didn't. We could have, but we didn't. 1016 trade, no major level. So how do you rate that? And going ahead and taking it. It's a double cross. So, and I think I said this at the time that I wouldn't have, and I didn't take the trade. I wouldn't have taken it. I don't take the first cross to the downside. I'll wait for that second cross to the downside. I wouldn't have taken it, but it worked out. I understand the why behind it. I would personally wait until we get to that major level. But again, that's just me. And if the reason is because you're not at a major level. Now, it's at a major level from yesterday, but not today. Not today. And again, that's just my opinion. If you play every single double cross, you're going to do fine. You'll do fine. Now, you'll have a lot more losers than if you just take double crosses at major levels. You just will. So, if you're trying to get rid of scar tissue, only take your plays at major levels. And again, that's a recommendation. That is, that's my opinion. But again, that's a recommendation. Okay, so let's talk about this next. I like this trade right here at 1037. I think it's a really, really well-defined double cross to the downside. You had multiple things going on at the same time. Number one, you had pre-market low. Pre-market high. We breached. So it was pre-market. We had a bunch of green lights on this trade. Probably, again, would have been a losing trade. So what did we have? We had pre-market high. There's a green light. We had the 9, another green light. A 20, another green light. We had VWAP. So you have 4 green lights right here. In one candle. One candle right here. We had a big stop light. We had a big stop light just what, 20 cents below, 35.26, 35, about what, 20 cents below, basically 20 cents below. That's a good time to get in. That way, if it goes against you, you could still maybe capture a little bit of the profit back to the upside. But let's look at, see what the 5-minute was doing at 1029 this morning. 1029 this morning, it's right in here. So yeah, you can see this area. Again, is it trying to push down? Maybe, maybe not. Nevertheless, you could take this trade at 1037, call that an A+ setup, lower high. It was. Yep. You can call this an A+ setup and hold your head high if you lost money on that trade. As a matter of fact, you will, unless you're looking for just a quick 20-cent scalp, you will most assuredly lose money on the trade entering on 1037 to the downside. Again, you got a whole bunch of green lights. But the really, really cool thing about that is we know we're going to have losing trades. We just know it. That's just part of the deal. But you're ingraining, again, Really, really good, strong trading behaviors. That's ultimately all we can do, folks. It's good trading behaviors. Okay, let's talk about that next double cross to the upside because it was right here, 1046. So at 1046, double cross to the upside. Again, we're looking for green. We're looking for green lights, right? So, okay, we're in an uptrending day. There's no question about that. You bet you lost on that one and kept it short and sweet. But Luis, that was such a good entry. Such a good entry right here. This is the trade we're looking for, guys. I mean, seriously, that is the trade we're looking for right there. We are in the execution business. We're in the process business, not in the results business. Not in the results business at all. Hey, what's up, Rob? What's going on? Good to see you. It's really good to see you. And Tash, so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Glad you are here. How's everything in Florida? I'm sure it's great. Next time I'm down there, you know we're getting together. All right, back to the group. Back to the group. Okay. Double cross to the upside. We are again looking for green lights, right? Okay. Uptrend. There's a green light right there. We're above the VWAP. There's a green light right there. It's a 9 and it's a 20. We have 4 green lights on this particular double cross to the upside right here. Where are our red lights? Well, you got a little bit directly to the left at 50. But again, it's an uptrending day and we're looking for a major level. Now, you can always, generally speaking, you can use VWAP as a springboard. I don't always consider it a major level, but I consider it a target, and I consider it a place for reversals. So you're getting your reversal right in here, push to the downside, recapture, double cross to the upside. And again, if all we're seeing is that right there, it's a good setup. Is it the best setup? No. I can tell you exactly what would have made this candle right here at 1046. What would have made this an absolutely just the A plus of all A plus setups? What would have made that candle right there? What would have made it the A plus setup? Pluto's coming in. He knows what it is. He knows exactly what it is. No top. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. He said no top wick. A little bit of a wick is fine. We just don't want too much. And a solid close over our major level. Yeah. Yeah. So you want those things right there. At that point, you don't have any red lights. You really don't. You're in an uptrend. You're above VWAP. You've got 9, you've got 20, and you've got the major level. You got 5. You've got 5 green lights. And you know, if you're just a support and resistance trader, you're thinking, well, you got this as 76. I don't care about that. Again, we have a whole bunch of green lights right here that are saying, it's basically saying, hey, put on the trade right here. This is what we do. It's an uptrend. It's a double cross. It's above VWAP and it's above a major level. That's it right there, guys. Again, it would have made it a lot better. And that would have been the trade that we say, guys, we got to take this. We just absolutely have to. I mean, I can't say we absolutely have to put on a trade or anything like that, but that's one that you look at and you go, you know what? We can't let that one get away. We just can't. Okay, so let's and the result, it was a really, really nice result. And then after that, guys, look what we did. I mean, we just pushed up the rest of the day, just pushed up, pushed up, pushed up. I like my plays again off the major levels, guys. But again, look what we did. Double cross here, ran back to the upside. We hit a brand new all-time high today a couple of different times. But look at how many times this thing just melted back to the upside. They were good setups. They were really, really good setups. We're looking for that double cross. And again, we're looking for them at major levels. So again, we didn't have anything. I mean, so we're looking for right in here, but our next major level up is R1. So we're looking for a pullback. I was looking for a pullback below. You get that tail, and then a recapture, and then a potential double cross to the downside at R1. That's what I'm looking for. That's what's going to put me into another trade. And then we just, yeah, we came down. R1 was support, and then it just ran back up a couple of different times, guys. So, I mean, can you take those? Well, I mean, you already know the answer. Can you take those trades that are between levels? You can. You can, but predefine your risk. And really the only way, well, I mean, it's not the only way, but the best way to predefine that risk if you're between levels is you're going to look at a couple of different things. Like this play, particularly this trade in here, for all intents and purposes, a double cross at 1122. And I'll get to your 1038 candle here in just a second, Pluto. So you got that double cross to the upside. Where are you stopping if it goes against you? Well, you can use the candle that got you in. If it's good enough to get you in, it's bad enough to take you out. I call it an ignition candle. So essentially 26 all the way through 43, you got 17 cents. Now, the good news on that is you had 1 minute support there. It's that, I mean, it's not 5 minute support. Actually, it was. It became 5 minute support right in here. But we have 1 minute support in here, so we're going to use that as our springboard back to the upside. But that's your stop. If it's good enough to get you in, it's going to be bad enough to take you right back out. And then again, it pushed back to the upside. So that is how we're going to grade the rest of those trades. When we're at all-time highs, because we don't have historical context, we have to use other things. You can pull up a 5 minute chart. As a matter of fact, this level right here, 627.94. I believe it was a triple bottom on the 5, so I made that a major level. I also believe that it was a double bottom on the 15, or pretty close. Again, the higher the time frame, the stronger the level. So again, this level right in here, it didn't do much after this. Again, it was kind of exhausted at the end of the day. But that's kind of how we determine, whether to take those trades or not. I don't like trading all-time highs. I don't think there's any secret. Now, if I'm in a trade below all-time high and the signal's still there to stay in the trade, I'm staying in the trade. I don't care. I'm going to use that 9 and ride that 9 as long as that sucker will carry me up. That's just the bottom line. But again, I wasn't in these trades right here. So let's talk about 1038 candle. 1038 candle. All right, 1015, 1038. Let me see, 1038. Yeah, so Pluto. Yeah, so the close of 1037, was an A+ setup. It was absolutely, positively an A+ setup. Why? Well, again, we're looking for green lights. 920 VWAP and pre-market high. So we have all of those. We have four green lights right there staring at us saying, you know what? We failed to push up to this last high. Let's see if we can take this thing back to the downside. Again, A+ setup. And again, the cool thing is, guys, well, maybe not cool, but we have to have losses. The trade was there. The setup was there. 14% scalp. Well, you scalped it right. Sold 35 seconds later. I get it. I absolutely get it. It's still a counter trend trade, right? And you had support. You had support right here at 625.10. So on scalps, number one, our edge has to be in place. It must present itself. So scalp it. Scalp it back to the downside. That's cool. But know where we stopped earlier. Again, look at this 25.10 level. Again, remember this single candle at 1024. Look at the buyer stepped in with pretty good volume. Again, we had this tail on the bottom of a stick, but that's all buying. Open, push down, buyers, whoop, back to the upside. So we're going to assume, again, that's just basic support and resistance. Close out at that level. So again, really, really nice trade. That's an A+ setup. Now, if you get a really, really strong candle, if this candle at 1038 pushes down and closes below, then you hold on to that trade. But you close, 14 seconds later? 35 seconds later. Anyway, really good trade. Excellent execution. A couple of weeks ago, I asked about the crossover that I was confused on these live reviews. You can see it finally. Oh, that is so good. So Pete just said, a couple of weeks ago, and I remember that, I asked about the crossover that I was confused on after these live reviews, you can see it finally. That is so cool. So here's what's so cool about that. You got better. If you see it better, by seeing it better, you are going to get better. Seeing it better will allow you to execute, will allow your execution to ramp up to that next level. And guys, it's the 4 different stages of learning, right? You know, you go through that first stage of learning where you don't know what you don't know, and that's characterized by really, really high confidence because you saw somebody do something and they were really good at it, and you said, if they can do it, because that person is not any smarter, that person is not any smarter than I am. If they can do it, by golly, I can do it too. So that's stage 1. That is stage 1. You move into that second stage of learning. That's basically, remember, stage 1, you don't know what you don't know. You get into stage 2. This is where we get beat up or beaten up. Stage 2, you know what you don't know, and you realize that whoever made it look easy, they were probably really, really good at what they did if they made it look easy. And you realize that you gotta have some competence in order to do this, right? So your confidence takes a big hit. You get bloody noses, you get beaten up, you get scar tissue, all those bad things that we don't want as traders. That's stage number 2. Now, if you keep on going, and you have to keep going, that's what you just went through right there, Pete. It's that new thing. It's like, I saw it. It's right there. I saw it. It makes sense. It makes sense. You get to stage 3, folks. Stage 3, the magic is starting to happen. In stage 3, now remember, stage 1, high confidence, low competence. You had none. Stage 2, you realized that you had no competence, so your confidence just got shot. It's like, that's where you hesitate, and that's where you chase. You do all the bad things you're not supposed to do as a trader. And then if you keep on going, you get that competence, you learn a little bit more, and you get better every day, and all these kind of good things. Guess what happens? You get to that stage 3 where you know what you know. You don't know everything, but you know what you know. You can see it, and boom, there's the setup. There it is. It's I understand. You see it before it sets up. If this happens, then I'm going to do that. That's stage 3. And it becomes really, 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 really cool. You don't need as much help in stage 3. You're gonna kick that 20 trade challenge. You're gonna kick it. I know you are, man. I know you are, Pete. Again, stage 3, you know what you know. So competence, confidence, competence, confidence. These things are all building, and it's magical. I'm telling you, it is magical. They're building. And then you know what happens? If you keep going in the journey, you keep on going, you get to stage 4. Guys, that's the guy, that's the person you saw. That's your Uncle Ben or whoever. That's the guy that you see driving the 18-wheeler, the semi that has 37 gears, and they're just ripping through all these things. That's watching Tiger Woods hit a golf ball. That's watching somebody perform at such a high level that they make it look easy. And that's when people say, oh my gosh, it's so easy. Even a caveman could do it, right? You get to that 4th stage. It's called unconscious competence. You don't know what you know. You just know it because it is so firmly ingrained in your brain. It is so firmly ingrained in your brain that you can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. You're not hesitating on trades. You're not chasing trades. You're getting out where you're supposed to get out, and it becomes more straightforward, and you get excited. You get really, really excited about the market. Because just like Pete just said, he's going to kick the butt of the 20 trade challenge, and you are. Again, you're seeing it better. You're seeing it better. You're seeing it better every day. And that's the goal of the group. That is the goal of the group, guys, is to get a little bit better both individually and collectively. The entire group. And again, individually. We're all on the same highway, guys. At different mile markers, but we're all trying to get to the same place. But I will tell you this, there's actually no destination. Because we always want to keep on getting better, right? We just want to keep on getting better and better and better and better and better. Now, if you don't want to get better, that's fine. That's fine. You're at a specific place in your journey. You're okay where you are. That's fine. But as long as you are open and willing to get better and continue learning, and again, just a little bit every day. It doesn't take a whole lot. But as long as you are open to do that, continuing that, you will get better and better and better and better and better every single day. Seriously, guys, every single day. So we have this opportunity right now, guys. And again, Pete, you saw it. It made sense. If it doesn't make sense right now, folks, if you are struggling right now in seeing it, if you are struggling with your execution, you're going to have these aha moments. You're going to have these moments of clarity when it's just absolutely amazing. It's amazing. It is. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the world. There's nothing in the world that I'd rather do than this right here. And again, I had that conversation with that person earlier today. You are in the middle of one of those. You had that moment yesterday, Luis. You had that moment yesterday. You did, man. You had that moment yesterday. You're like, oh man, if I just take double crosses, if I make that my ankle pick, that's my move. I'm going to get so good at that. I'm going to get expert. I'm going to be elite level. I'm going to be Cale Sanderson good with that particular move. That's how good I'm going to be. I'm going to be as good as I can possibly be. I'm going to be the mighty oak that never stopped growing because it could. It started yesterday, guys. It started yesterday for you, Luis. Pete, do you already have in your mind on the first crossover not interested, or is it okay with a tight stop to consider? No, consider it. Consider it. If you get your edge, if your edge is there first thing, then you put on the trade. And the result is the result. Whatever it is, it is. We don't know what it's going to be. Sometimes you get that signal on that first candle. Sometimes you're a couple hours into the day. So we have to be ready. We just have to be ready. But always predefine that risk. We always predefine that risk. Where am I getting out when the trade goes against me? That is so critically important. And then your exits. Where are you getting out? Why are you getting out? Again, we have a reason for getting in. Let's have a reason for getting out. Same type thing. But get better every day, folks. We're almost an hour in, folks, and that's about, if you guys have more questions, wonderful. I will answer any questions that you guys have, comments or anything like that. I got to save a little bit of my voice for tomorrow, though. But yeah, I get super excited and my voice gets better. I don't know what it is, but it does. It's passion. It's absolute passion, guys. Absolute passion. And what's up, YouTube? You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Awesome, Luis. Awesome. And again, if you guys have any more questions, so again, moving forward, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the trade reviews. Man, I appreciate that, Peter. Appreciate that. Tea with honey. I will. Being off topic, I'm going cold turkey on nicotine patches. Oh, since Monday. Oh my gosh. Okay, Pluto. So I chewed the gum. I chewed the nicotine gum for, let me see, 24, almost 10 years. Because I quit December 31st, 2014, and I quit nicotine gum March of last year. So over 9 years. I'll answer that here in just a second, Dan. So since Monday, you're through the pain, man. You're through the physical. You're through the physical part. You're through the physical part. Now it's just the mental part, man. And just so here's how. Now was it is like nicotine pouches. There's a lot of studies. There's a lot of actual studies that say nicotine in pouches, as long as it's not like tobacco, is good for you. There's a lot of good things. Pete, yes, I got you. Here's how you cure yourself from feeling anything about that, Pluto. You say to you, this is the question. Is that adding anything to my life, or is it something from a habitual standpoint that I need to give up? Stomach issues, decide to quit. There you go. Yeah, that's the question. That's the question. Does it add anything to my life? If it does, great. If it doesn't, you know what to do. For me, it was, I looked at myself one day after I made my list, and it said, you know what? I'm lying to myself saying that this is not a problem. So that's what ultimately led me to quitting. But anyway, do I think the market is too high for no reason? Man, I don't know. You know, at times, Dan, I do think that the market is high for no reason. But, in the defense of the market being way up here, we've had a bunch of good reports. We've had a bunch of really, really good reports lately. So, you know, it's good. It's good. Now, we have FOMC Day, the 30th. The 30th of July, Federal Open Market Committee. They will be made. That's good. That's a huge one. This is going to be one of the biggest ones in quite a long time, guys. Now, December was huge, but this is going to be really, really big. It's going to be really, really big. Now, if for some reason that Donald Trump, between now and then, if Donald Trump fires Jerome Powell before then, I don't know what the FOMC is going to do. I have no idea. No idea. But I have this sneaky suspicion because, and again, it's my economic brain. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. Generally speaking, you don't lower interest rates. And it's just a Fed rate. It's just a rate that they loan money to the bank, right? It doesn't always trickle down to consumers, or not quickly anyway. I don't know that they're going to decrease rates. I think it's going to be September. I thought they said he could not fire him. He can fire him for cause, but he must have cause. That's true. Yeah, most of the time. I don't think Powell's leaving. I'm not. I used to be a really, really big fan. You can't deny the guy's really, really smart. I used to be a big fan. I'm less of a fan, because of some of the things that he said a little over a year ago. But it's, he's still a really, really smart guy. Anyway, that's what I got, folks. We're an hour in. We are 1 hour in. I'm going to say goodbye to YouTube real quick, folks. So, YouTube, hey, seriously, in all seriousness, let me check here real quick. Let me check real quick on YouTube to see if there are any. Oh, Esperanza! Oh my gosh, there you are. I remember you. Of course, I remember you. Yes. The link. Get the link down below. Join. You got a free week. Seriously. I remember you. Yes, of course I remember you. So, yeah. Come join the group. Please, come join the group. And again, first week is free. So, anyway. But anyway, YouTube land. I know. I see you. Right there. And again, I'm talking to one, she was in the old group. This is for YouTube. If you like the videos, you guys know the thing. Smash that like button. Leave us a comment. We always appreciate those comments, all that kind of good stuff. Share, share, share. All the good stuff in Esperanza. You've got to. You just join. Join tomorrow morning. Be there. Also, if you are interested in live daily trading, where we do this all day long, every single day. So we start at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's 30 minutes before the market opens. Head on over to our live trading Discord. It is called, you guessed it, it is called 920 Trading. The link for that is down below. So go check out that, go check it out. Anyway, yeah, go check it out. Anyway, and if you're interested in the crossover strategy, 920trading.com. Anyway, I hope everybody, and again, this is for YouTube. I hope you guys have a great evening. Until next time, we will see